this latest deal, alliance with the European Union moving forward. Keep that in mind. One big deal here is the new Pan-African Payments and Settlement System, or PAPSS, which was launched on January the 13th this year. It's been described as a major catalyst for the new intra-Africa trade program under the AFCFTA. Joining me on the show this evening from Accra, Ghana, the headquarters of the PAPSS, is the Deputy CEO of the organization, John Sebabi. Thanks for coming through to us this evening, sir. And I think it's not too early to check in with you and your team at the PAPSS on how much progress you're making. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Good. How has the operations of the new payment and settlement system progressed since the formal launch about a month ago?
Well, thank you very much, first of all, for letting me come onto this forum to be able to discuss this. And maybe if I can go straight into the question. The operations, I can describe them in two ways. One are the technical operations, and also probably the business development operations. The operations after the launch have been amazing. It has been a very phenomenal kind of improvement. One is that many participants are approaching us to be part of the platform, to be part of the system, to be part of everyone participating in Papss. And two, in terms of integrations, we are almost at 80% integrating the switches. Maybe let me take a step back and mention that we have 2 switches signed up to participate on Papss. We have NIBS in Nigeria, we have GIPS in Ghana, we have eTransact in Nigeria, we have InterSwitch. All these are now integrated to around 80%. So very soon, in a couple of days, weeks, we should see the real transactions from commercial banks starting to happen. And also another switch, probably I'll mention it later, has also joined. And other 2 are in the pipeline to join. They have been approved by their own boards. This is the GAM switch in Gambia, this Rwanda switch in Rwanda, and Unified Payments has also signed up. So the operations in terms of technicalities have been very exciting and very intense since after the commercial launch. In terms of business development, yes, we've had lots of approaches from commercial banks, from fintechs, and all the other sectors that do want to play. We've also had some very exciting approaches from central banks. So it has been, the operations have been intense, I would say, and enormous.
How is your organization, the PAPSS, handling all the issues arising from the system launch? You've talked a little bit about it, but that's on the technical side. On the operational side, is everything ready, as it were, to put the first trade on the system? You said that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, I would say issues not in terms of issues or challenges affecting the system, but also issues in terms of the good pressure that's coming from the participants. That's the issue we're facing. Good pressure coming, whereby we are handling about maybe over 50 inquiries on our system, and that's pressure coming on. But we are handling because we expect this kind of approach. We're expecting this to happen. It's kind of it's an eruption that has happened, but we are handling all that, and technically we have not had any glitches in the system that we piloted. We haven't had any glitches. Thank God for that. And so the issues are not emanating in terms of negative issues, but in terms of positive issues, putting pressure on the team, putting pressure on everything to be able to participate. So those are issues I can mention that have happened since after the launch.
What about the businesses themselves, those who will do the trade themselves, rather the settlement? Are you getting inquiries from businesses, I mean companies, African companies themselves across the continent, not just in West Africa where the piloting of this is taking place, to say, look, how does this work? And what kind of inquiries are you getting? Is it from big businesses, or perhaps Dangote Cement, for example, or the big banks, or you're getting them from medium to small enterprises across the continent?
Yes, thank you for that, and thank you for asking that question, because it actually touches the heart of the matter, the gist of the matter, why Papss is in existence. Yes, we have had inquiries from funds, from SMEs, SMEs calling in not only from the West African Monetary Zone, where we are operating, but in the East African region, in the South African region, in Central Africa. And these are saying, okay, you have this across Africa. How can I participate? How can I make use of it? So those inquiries at that level are numerous, as well as also from the fintech side. To say, well, okay, this is happening. How can I come in to participate as a fintech? How can I use your rails and your infrastructure that you have put in place? And we've also had inquiries from commercial banks that, okay, you have this, how can I participate? So this is coming across Africa. And we are calling upon central banks and talking to them honestly and say, well, since this is a central bank centric system, you need to come on board. And so because we have so many inquiries from your markets wanting to use the system. So these are the kind of inquiries we're getting.
In terms of how you get this operational of the PAPSS up and running, what critical support are you getting and from what sources are you getting them? Because you need all the help you can get.
Oh yes, you're right. We need all the help we can. We need all the support that we can receive, and we are getting quite very good support. For a start, we are supported by 3 institutions. We have the AU that is supporting us, that has endorsed us on several occasions. We have the AFTA that's supporting us from the fact that we are an implementing instrument of its mandate, and we have the Afrexim Bank that set the system up. Now we are receiving support from advocacy level and also from the market level. We are getting support from central banks. So far, we have a central bank outside the WAMS region that signed up 2 days before the launch, and we have other inquiries that from central banks that are coming in. We will announce those central banks when the time is appropriate, but they have also come in to support the system to say, well, we think this can help Africa, we think this can help our business. Let's join hands. So we're still going over a few legal issues because every member has got sign-up agreements. So still going over that. Now, in terms of support from the other institutions of Africa, we have huge, enormous support from the AU. Apart from the endorsements that were given to us in 2019 in Niamey, when the Papss was endorsed as the payment systems that is going to implement SFTA, and also later in December 2020, they reiterated and asked Afrexim Bank and the ACFTA to expedite the implementation of Papss, which has happened. Now, in the more recent AU meeting, we got this support where they said, very well, you've launched. However, we direct you, Afrexim Bank, ACFTA, to go and cover the whole continent. Let Papss cover the whole continent. And also start to look into the regulatory framework issues. So that's a very good support from a high-level institution like the AU. And 2, we've got support from ACFTA and Afrexim Bank that are supporting us in all manner of ways. So we have the central bank supporting us as coming on board as members. We have also the support from the other institutions that have always supported us and now have enhanced the support. Why am I saying support from the market? When you put a system in place like Papss, without the support from the markets to be used, then the system wouldn't be effective. It wouldn't arrive at the objectives that we'd want. But we have support from the markets that there's demand for it. There's a thirst to come and use it. There's enthusiasm to come and use it. So I regard that as all the support that we have.
Well, a few questions have been raised around whether the PAPSS will be a hindrance to a wider global hard currency trade that many African countries and businesses would like to have, because under the PAPSS is going to be local currency to local currency transaction, but a number of African countries will want to do exports in foreign currencies, in US dollars, whatever, in Chinese yuan, whatever. So explain this, how will it really work? Some folks are getting concerned that doing business in Naira to Cedi or to Kwanza is not really a game changer, is it? Or will it be?
Now, I thank you that you're raising that question actually and bringing it on board, because a couple of there could be a couple of kind of mishaps in communication that perhaps can hinder international trade. Africa will trade with other continents and trades with other continents. Africa is open for business. However, what we're saying is that if intra-African trade today is at 16%, inter-European trade is at 75+%, inter-Asian trade is over 60% as well. We're saying that, okay, what's hindering intra-African trade from growing? And we made a research and realized that the payments infrastructure was not in position to support this. And thus, hence, ACFTA was formed and Papss was also put in place to implement ACFTA. The mandate of ACFTA is to increase intra-African trade. Trade is about whether trade one needs a payment after trading a good or a service. So we're saying that let's increase intra-African trade. Naturally, external trade will also happen between Africa and other continents. And we're not saying that we're going to trade in nairas, rands, or shillings, or Rwandan francs, or Burundian francs in with the US or with the UK or with Asia. We're saying that intra-African trade can be supported to happen in local currencies. One, because it is costly to solicit for a hard currency to effect intra-African trade. So we're saying that Papss can come in to do many things. One, ensure instant payment. Two, ensure that the trade intra-African can happen in local currencies. And three, also to deal with a lot of informal trades that are happening across our borders. So we're saying if those three happen, then intra-African trade will increase. This should not stop trade that's happening across the continent or between Africa and other continents.
Okay, so there's no reason. So there's no reason for anyone to get a little bit concerned that the PAPSS and intra-African is not going to prevent them from earning dollars. It looks like a sweet currency. Everybody wants to hold one.
Yes, there should not be any worries that Papss has come in to stop international trade. We are only saying that intra-African trade is very low. Let's increase it, and by smoothing and making the payment systems work efficiently.
We wish you all the best down there in Accra and across the continent. Thank you so much, John Sebabi, Deputy Chief Executive Officer at the Pan-African Payments and Settlement System in Accra, Ghana. Have a great day.